Hello and welcome to the discussion on language learning from mother tongue to other tongue. Learners and participants of Bachelor of Education, Language Pedagogy, Language Across Curriculum. Today we will have some interesting discussion on how language learning happens. Is there a difference between a child learning in mother tongue or child is forced to learn in other language other than the mother tongue? I am R. Meghanathan from the Department of Education and Languages, NCERT, New Delhi. Learners, we do not know one thing, even after 150 years of research, how a child learns. This is a kind of a very mystical question. Even great pedagogues like Brunner really exclaims, we have not been able to say very firmly how a child learns. That's one thing. And language learning is much more complex and it takes time, we know that. So, let me ask you some interesting questions to reflect and introspect. Can you recall how you learnt your mother tongue? Did anyone teach you your mother tongue? How was it possible for you to learn your mother tongue till you entered the school? Nobody has taught you from your childhood to you entered the school. Then teacher started teaching you letters of the alphabet, words, then writing, grammar, what else and what not. But till then, you had learnt your mother tongue or the first language on your own by talking to a mother, father, people in the society. And how did it happen? Nobody taught you. How was your mother tongue taught when you entered the school? Let me ask you another question. How was your mother tongue taught when you first entered school? Maybe class 1, nowadays we call it kindergarten. In those days, we might not have had pre-KG as we call it today. When you entered school class 1, what was introduced first? When your teacher started teaching letters of the alphabet or words or sentences. Then the last question, do you remember how you learnt your mother tongue? Take a minute to introspect or reflect, recall, reminiscence. Learners, we learnt our mother tongues, our language in social settings on our own. It comes from birth. Some people believe it comes even from the womb before birth. So, mother tongue matters. Why mother tongue matters? All children come to school with their mother tongue, their oral language ability and fully blown oral language ability, and in which learners speak correct language. They may not commit great mistakes given to their understanding, given to their knowledge and topic they know. And children also feel at ease when the classroom uses their mother tongue, not only as a medium, for any means. Children connect with their lived-in experience better in their language than in any other language, particularly in primary school. When a teacher comes and tells children in the mother tongue, children will be much more attached and will be able to understand better than others. Children can converse with anyone in their language on a topic of their age. For example, if you ask them what food they like, how is their house, home, how are their siblings, what game they like, game they like to play, all will be interesting. They will be able to talk. But you can't ask them rocket technology at the age of 3 plus. But when they come to school at the age of 3, they speak the language very well. That means they have a grammatical understanding of it implicitly. But unfortunately, participants, prospective teachers, not all mother tongues are in school. Not all learners' mother tongues are available in school or used in the classroom. All tribal, minority languages are not available in school. That's another pathetic thing in the Indian scene today. Learners are made to learn in another language as a medium. First of all, their language is not there. Another is they have to learn through another medium. there is language disadvantage. It leads to language disadvantage, which is carried particularly in the case of tribal minority languages and many children with the advent of English medium in a big way. So, we advocate for sound pedagogical understanding, language learning theories, and also cognitive development. We say that mother tongue first. Mother tongue first language needs to develop fully well in order to develop the linguistic faculties of learners. If I am introduced to another language even before my first language develops well, it's a kind of subtracting my language, and no language learning. It may lead to kind of language disability or disruption. This will help and support learners to any number of language. Suppose I have learnt very well my language, then I will be able to learn any number of languages. Multilingual education needs to be mother tongue based education. We are now talking about multilingual education. It does not mean that all languages have to be learnt concurrently, of course later, but it has to be facilitated through mother tongue, my first language. Then I keep on adding. Once mother tongue and the first language is strengthened very well, it facilitates, it serves the base to learn other languages and subjects also. Look at it. India has a language in education policy known as 3-language formula. It lays emphasis on first language to be studied must be the mother tongue or the regional language. There is a problem with the Indian linguistic scene. Not all mother tongues are available in school, I said. So, the state language is taken as the de facto mother tongue of children. There is a problem there. This is the first language. The second language, in Hindi speaking states, the second language will be some other modern Indian language or English. In non-Hindi speaking states, second language will be Hindi or English. The third language, we need not much bother, but let us take the first language. Even in the first language we have problem. Not all mother tongues are available in school. Look at it, the recent development language in the national education policy. It also reiterates 3-language formula will continue to be implemented while keeping in mind the constitutional provision, aspiration of people, regions, the union, that is Indian Union, and the need to promote multilingualism as well as promote national unity. NEP 2020 gives greater flexibility in the choice of languages. It also says, as far as possible, mother tongue has to be there in the school, and that will be the decision of the states and the communities themselves. But it puts a kind of binding. If the two of the 3 languages children learn, the 2 have to be Indian languages. That means we can assume that the third language is English or maybe English. So, in that case, the 2 languages, one of them has to be mother tongue. This is not happening still. So, look at how language hierarchy happens in Indian context. The tribal minor languages are at the disadvantage because they are not in school, they are not in public administration, in court, and state majority languages are above them, and English language is predominant in education. Particularly when you go to higher education, most courses are run in English medium. There are states like Tamil Nadu, higher education courses are also run in Tamil medium, conducted in Tamil medium. So, how we will put it? So, this language hierarchy is almost you can apply to any region of India. This gives makes mother tongues at the back seat. So, let us look at it how Mohanty explains this. There is a double divide in Indian multilingualism. Though we claim to be having multilingual education, look at it, look at it at the bottom, indigenous, tribal, minority languages, then a vernacular and other divide, that is state majority language, then the dominant languages like English or the official language. So, this is a kind of divide happens in school education. So, how will we manage to bring mother tongue first, then move on to other languages? What happens when children learn in their mother tongue? Children this is research proved Panda and Mohanty, children had significantly better classroom achievement in languages as well as content subjects when they learn in mother tongue, and their self-respect and self-confidence increased. Greater participation and interest in classroom learning. So, when their languages are used, they are very happy to participate. Then greater participation and interest in the classroom, and had a positive impact on school enrollment, children's attendance and retention. So, at the end of the day, all children were able to get into school and continue studying. There was no dropout. This is the studies conducted. Then look at it. There were two multilingual education projects, mother tongue based multilingual education projects, one conducted in Andhra Pradesh, another one in Odisha. The Odisha multilingual MLE program was evaluated by NCERT in 2011. MLE programs of tribal children were more effective compared to the dominant language medium programs. That means Odia medium children from tribal communities could not do equivalent to the tribal minor language children who studied in their language, tribal languages. This is the thing. There are two aspects, mother tongue as a language, mother tongue as medium in Indian context. In many contexts, mother tongue is not available in both the categories as a language as well as medium of instruction. Learners are at a disadvantage which leads to burden on them. What kind of burden? There are lots of burden. Incomprehensibility of the text and language used by the teachers and their peers. So, teacher may not be even using the language of the learner, he may not even know the language. How will he be able to deliver mother tongue? Then that is what it is ideal to have mother tongue based multilingualism. All learners begin their schooling in their mother tongue, move on to add 2 or more languages by the time they complete the 10-year schooling. This is what 3-language formula and multilingual education as a philosophy, as a strategy and as a policy reiterates. All children have to begin their schooling in their mother tongue and move on to add 2 more languages at least. Now, the new policy says it is possible to add more languages, even foreign languages. This is called additive bilingualism. I have my mother tongue and I add my state language, English, Hindi, foreign language, any language. So, this is not going to harm children, this will benefit children, but mother tongue has to be learned fully developed. Learners move with their linguistic capability in their first language, many languages, that common language linguistic proficiency helps in learning many languages, and also the subjects. So, 3-language formula, Right to Education Act, National Education Policy are advocating mother tongue at the primary stage as essential for harmonious language development as well as development of learners. Right to Education Act made it very clear, medium of instruction as far as practicable should be the mother tongue of learners up to class 8th. National Education Policy says up to 5 compulsorily and up to 8th standard, as long as possible up to 8th standard. Very clearly saying that we need to go for mother. Moving from mother tongue to other tongues. Let learners develop literacy in the languages known to her in the ambience, the mother tongue, first language, home language. Let learners develop literacy in their languages in the ambience, mother tongue, maybe the home language and the regional language. Then move on to add any more language. 2 or more languages are learnt and used as medium of instructions, wherein mother tongue, first language of the learners, facilitates learning the other languages and content subjects. For example, my mother tongue is, let us say, Gondi, it is a tribal language. Then let the classroom use Gondi, Chhattisgarhi or Odia and Hindi if available. Then where the mother tongue gets the prominence in order to learn other languages. And also later children become multilinguals from the beginning. That will actually support. So, this is how a classroom, a curriculum, a syllabus has to be planned. Look at it. Then what is this mother tongue based multilingual education? We have been saying that. Start with the mother tongue and move on to add as many languages possible. So, 2 or more languages including sign languages as media of instruction in subjects other than the languages themselves, and with the high level of multilingualism, preferably multiliteracy as a goal at the end of formal schooling. This is what Mohanty defines what multilingual education is. So, 2 or more languages are added but mother tongue remains and continues. This is how from mother tongue to other tongue we can move. So, how does MLE move? Well, how do learners learn? Learners learn and move from basic interpersonal communication skills, BICS, BICS we call it, to language skills. Children need to go beyond BICS to the level of cognitive advanced language proficiency. What is basic interpersonal communication? I should be able to converse with people in my immediate environment. We call it language of here and now. Hello, how are you? Can I borrow you a pen? Use my language and any language. Then later, I have to write an article or an essay about something, okay, scientific experiment, or about language, philosophy, poetry. So, that is called. So, in all the languages, if mother tongue is supported very well, they will be able to move from basic interpersonal communication skills to cognitive advanced language proficiency. This can easily happen if mother tongue is fully supported. Learners can use their language for regulation of their thinking, problem solving, creative activities, and metacognitive and metalinguistic reflections. So, when my I understand in the language, so I can think, move above and think, oh, I can reflect and correct myself in speaking, thinking, writing, many things. And science and mathematics happens that way. Sometimes in science they said if 2 plus 2 is 4, then what is? Then you will have to understand, so there is a kind of sets created that requires regulation and monitoring, and we call it language processing, mental processing. That happens in many languages concurrently if mother tongue, when children move from mother tongue to other tongue. Look at it. What is the Indian situation? I have said that Indian situations, learners with mother tongue is different from school language, but the first language and the medium of instruction. Look at it. My mother tongue is different from the first language of the school and medium of. That means my mother tongue is not there at all. Second category, mother tongue is different from the state language, home language, and school language. Almost like the first category. And it's not a medium of instruction, neither maybe my language may be taught in the school, and mother tongue and school language and medium of instruction are the same. For example, a Hindi speaker, a Tamil speaker in an urban place, for him or her, school language, his mother tongue is Tamil or Hindi, school language and medium of instruction also. So, that child is with better advantaged. Mother tongue and school languages are the same, but the medium of instruction is different. These are all situations. For example, my language is Hindi, and school language, general languages in children, most of the speakers are there Hindi, but medium of instruction is English. It may happen. But I am a migrant, Tamil migrant to Delhi, let us say. So, medium of instruction may be Hindi. My language is different from school language itself. There are lots of how we can tackle Indian situation. Using the languages of learners. It is important to use the languages of learners in the classroom to make them feel confident first. Oh, my language is recognized. Material should be drawn from their language. Means not necessarily exactly in their language. Suppose the language is not available, literature, community, culture, practices. Provision should be made to learn their languages. It is mandatory under Constitution of India. Article 350A of the Indian Constitution ensures that children belonging to minority language should be given the provision to learn their language in school. Even if there is one child, the district collector, administrator has to ensure that the child gets the teacher. Then, how can we move from mother tongue to other tongue? Translanguaging as a pedagogy. Translanguaging pedagogy refers to pedagogical strategies used to learn languages based on the learner's whole linguistic repertoire and spontaneous multilingual practices used in a pedagogical way. For example, any Indian classroom you might have seen that the teacher explains in English, Hindi or any other language. So, we can see the teacher moving from one language to another language very easily. It's code switching. But what we say here is there are 5 languages in the classroom. Use the languages as and when required, as and when you feel. The whole linguistic repertoire is in child's mind. The child may know the tribal language, his mother tongue or her mother tongue, and the state majority language English. So, use wherever. This is we call it translanguaging pedagogy. Maybe someone may be taking a session on this. So, we can use that. Then I think learners and the participants, mother tongue is important, but at the same time children belonging to many languages have to move to other languages. For example, a tribal child at the end of the day, maybe at the end of schooling or the high school or the higher secondary school, has to move to the other language in order to learn science, mathematics or to English medium. But let us see that it happens like additive bilingualism, not subtractive bilingualism. Subtractive bilingualism means that children, their first language, a second language is learned at the cost of their first language. And at the end of the day, children won't be doing well in both the languages. So, let us make the transition, or let us look at the language learning as in a holistic way. All languages are learned, but mother tongue takes a priority at the very early stages. So, that is what learners. Let me summarize it and give you some tasks for you. First is, why is mother tongue important and what is multilingual education? Mother tongue based multilingualism we have seen. Then how we can move from, before that we have seen that how language hierarchies exist in India. Another thing is the language divide, Professor Ajit Mohanty's that visual image. Then how we can use translanguaging as a pedagogy and how we can make use of the languages available in the classroom in order to teach languages as well as content subjects. Learners, here are some tasks for you. Very interesting, it may be very personal also. Write your language learning autobiography. That is, recall and write how you learned your mother tongue. Many things you may not have remembered, but still you can recall. You can ask your mother or grandmother, any people around, then and write your biography. How you started speaking, how you learnt mother tongue in and outside the classroom. I would prefer to see how you feel that you learned from outside the classroom. And also write how you learn your second language, that is in most contexts maybe Hindi majority language or English. Write your second language autobiography. And third task, why could not all Indian children study their mother tongue in school? Is it political, academic, social, linguistic? Reflect and write. Will mother tongue based multilingualism promote mother tongue education in school and later leading to other language learning? Learners, these are the tasks. Thank you very much for having been part of this discourse. Hope that it has benefited you to some extent. Please read some of the references I am giving you, Cummins, then Ajit Mohanty, NCERT documents, Panda. So, this will be helpful to you in order to understand still better. So, let me thank you for your patient listening and participation. Thank you very much.